Hello YouTube and welcome back to UK Highland Photography. I'm Strober and today we're going to be talking about the 4 different types of remote shutter releases it is that you can buy for your DSLR. So let's begin. The first remote shutter release we can buy is the standard infrared remote control. So how does the infrared remote control work? Well, simple. It fires an infrared beam of light at your DSLR in order to give it the command in order to take a photograph. Now, this is absolutely ideal if you're working indoors or outdoors at night. If you work with this infrared remote control outdoors on a sunny day during the daytime, then you may run into a few problems, and the first problem being with regards to the sun, because basically the light beam, the infrared light beam that comes out of this remote control is actually quite weak. So if the sun was over here on a bright sunny day and the light beam came from out of here, then the light from the sun is gonna hit the infrared light beam and basically scatter the infrared light beam, and that's going to stop the infrared beam from communicating with your DSLR. Basically, the infrared light beam it started its journey, but it never finished it because the sun blocked it. So again, these are good, cheap, standard remote shutter releases for your DSLR. However, they're not ideal for working with them outside on a bright sunny day. So that brings me on to the next remote shutter release we can buy for our DSLRs. Now, this is the RC208. We sell all these remote controls, we actually sell on online shop. So let's have a look at the RC208 in more detail and some of its benefits. Well, the great thing I love about this remote control is the simple fact that it works with cables. Let me explain this. You can buy this remote control, but then also buy different cables. So this is currently a Nikon DSLR. So what I can do is I can simply plug this in and connect it to my Nikon DSLR. However, let's say I bought a Canon camera. So what I could do then is basically disconnect this, buy a brand new cable, connect that cable in here, and then connect it to my Canon. So this is basically a universal remote control which you can carry over to many different forms of cameras. So what's the benefits of using this remote control? Well, again, you get the reliability of cable. Not only that, but it also has a lock-in feature. So what happens, let's say you like to photograph fireworks during bonfire night. So when you go into bulb mode in your DSLR, you'll press the button, and you know, sometimes holding your thumb in like this, it can get sore on your thumb. So let's say like after 5 minutes you're like, whoa, you know, your thumb's got cramp stuff there. With this remote control, it has a built-in lock. So as you can see now, I've actually locked the button down, and that will stay recording the camera for as long as I want. And when I'm ready, I'll just simply pop it out, and there you go, the exposure will stop. So again, this is another cheap remote control what you can buy for your DSLR. So we're going to now move on to the radio frequency. Now, radio frequency shutter releases are absolutely awesome. These allow you to work outside in bright sunlight, unlike the standard infrared. Unfortunately for the sun cannot stop radio waves. So this is where us as photographers, we benefit from this. So this would be ideal for sports, for like, I don't know, let's say football matches. You've got a camera set up behind the goal posts and you're stood on the sideline, and you simply press the button in order to activate that camera, or you could have your DSLR installed in basketball nets, and every time somebody jumps up to put the basketball in the net, you press the remote control and it takes the photograph. So this remote control is a little bit more advanced, because unlike these two really just like start and stop. However, with this remote control, you have the start and stop function. So you have your single burst mode, then you have your multiple burst mode. Not only that, but you also have a bulb mode. Now, the beautiful thing about Oculus is that when you're in bulb mode, all you have to do is press the button once, it will stop recording. You don't have to press that button again until you finish. So when you press it again, then it's going to stop recording. Not only that, but this also has a time feature on it. So if you like to take selfies, which I like to do, then you can basically just press this and it will set the countdown timer in order to get you ready to take your photograph. So that is the Pixel Oculus, and to me, that is an absolute great go-to remote control. You can even change the channels, the radio frequencies on this, so you can have channel 1, channel 2, stuff like that. Anyway, moving on to my absolute favorite Pixel remote control. It has got to be the TW282. Now you can get the corded version, which uses a cord, that's the TC252. However, I like the wireless one myself and I love it. It's the TW282. Now the beauty about this remote shutter release is the simple fact that you can program it in order to take X amount of photographs. For example, just like the Oculus, it has all the features of the Oculus, but it also has programmable features. So I can basically say to this remote control, look, I want you to give me a 5-second countdown, then I want you to take 99 photographs, but every time you take one photograph, in between that photograph, give me a 30-second break, and then I just press start and that'll actually do it. So it's great for doing time lapses, but I also find that this is another great remote control to do for selfies, because of the fact is you can program it to like take 10 photographs and have like a 5-second break in between each photograph, and that allows you enough time to get into a different pose for your selfie. So basically guys, there you go. That's the like 4 main types of remote controls that we sell for DSLRs over at UK Highland Photography. Again, when you buy a remote control, it's the fact is to take in consideration, one, how frequent are you going to use the remote control, and number 2, what type of photography are you going to use that remote control for. So for example, an infrared remote control is going to be no good for landscape photography due to the fact that the sun can overpower the infrared light within it. So moving on, if your DSLR doesn't have a time-lapse feature in it, then you can always buy the TW282 or TC252 in order to have the time-lapse feature compatible with your DSLR, or you can just have the standard bonfire remote control, which is what I like to call the RC208. It's perfect for bonfire night when you're taking fireworks shots. Anyway guys, you've now learnt about the four main types of remote controls it is that you can buy for your DSLR. Right guys, see you all in the next video. Take care.